Hello, guys, and welcome to another One Stop Wrestling podcast. I am your host, Alex, filling in for Craig this week, who is otherwise engaged. And this week, I'm joined by Alfonso and Rohit. Alfonso, how are you this evening?
I'm all good. Still a little bit sad about Terry Funk passing away. Uh,
Yes,
it's crazy, but I had a feeling that it was coming soon. And he's one of the greatest of all time. And yeah, sad days for wrestling, but otherwise excited about All In, excited about everything that's going on in the wrestling world, and just happy to be here.
awesome. Rohit, how are you this evening?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Hope everyone else is doing good. And yeah, it's unfortunate. R.I.P. Terry Funk. And yeah, just where he's been, what he's done in the world of wrestling, like from the independent scene to WWE to in Japan and everywhere else. It's really sad day, but he wouldn't want us to be sad the way Terry was. So I guess we should get cracking on with the show. But yeah, all in as well. See what they can do.
Absolutely, yeah, I couldn't agree with you guys more. Obviously, really sad news last night. Hardcore pioneer, absolute legend in the business.
Underrated technical wrestler as well. I feel like a lot of people remember him more for his hardcore. I feel that, but he wasn't bad technically either.
Oh yeah, Terry Funk had it all, didn't he?
Yeah.
NWA world champion, ECW world champion,
Mhm.
highly respected by his peers and
Yeah.
fans alike as well. So yeah, everyone at One Stop Wrestling would like to wish his family the sincerest of condolences. So yeah, R.I.P. the Funkster.
Mhm.
Um, but this evening we are going to talk about Edge mainly. Obviously, he had
Mhm.
his retirement match, what was seemingly his retirement match last week on SmackDown against Sheamus in his hometown of Toronto. Big send off. He gave the big speech after. So all signs pointing to that being his last match, really. Reports after have come out and said that Edge laid out some contract negotiations with WWE, which WWE rejected.
That's
That
false. That's false because he just posted a video this morning, Edge, having a coffee, saying that that's false and that he has an extension in his inbox, but he hasn't decided yet what he wants to do after.
interesting. Well, that's also fueled obviously speculation that he may make an
Mhm.
appearance at AEW All In at Wembley Stadium, which obviously we'll have to wait and see if that happens. But obviously, with everything going on with Edge in this last week, each of us are gonna pick our favorite moment from the Rated R Superstar's career. He's had an absolutely incredible career, really highly distinguished, lots of championships, big moments. So lots to choose from. So Alfonso, we'll start with you. What is your favorite moment from the career of Edge?
I was a young guy. I didn't like John Cena winning all the time. I watched an amazing match. Uh, what? Wait, it was a New Year's Revolution 2006. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I know where you're going.
yeah, that cashed in the first one, the Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
John Cena all bloody and Edge winning as a heel and getting one of the biggest ovation. I think it was just perfect. It was just
Mhm.
everything of that moment was perfect. Even Vince McMahon was perfect that night.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on that one, Alfonso. That was a highly memorable moment, and obviously with the Money in the Bank cash-ins as well. That was the first ever one. So fans were a bit unsure of what to expect with it, and he did it perfectly. Really,
Yeah.
as a heel, you want to take advantage of the champ being at his weakest, and yeah,
Mhm. Great moment.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think I think one of the best things is that he held with the contract like for 290 days or something like that. And on the same night, he lost against Ric Flair in the IC title match using the briefcase.
Mhm.
So I think that just fueled like what's going on with Edge. Is it ever going to cash in? What's going on with this new gimmick, with this new briefcase? And the way they executed that was amazing.
It was the first cash in as well, I think. Like the first Marking Bank, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very interesting for sure.
And
That everything worked out with the cash in.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Edge's
I
first
was
world
was
title as
between
well.
Hmm.
I was between that cash in and the sex celebration with Lita. So it was a very difficult choice for me.
I wondered if any of you were going to say the live sex celebration too. That also drew the highest Raw rating in over a year. That sex celebration. So
Yeah.
yeah, good, excellent choice, Alfonso. Couldn't agree more with that one. Rohit, what is your favourite moment from Edge's career?
Speaking of which, it is the sex celebration.
You did go with it.
No, I didn't. I'm only joking. It was close. It was between the first Money in the Bank cash in. But I feel like for me, honestly, like I just had a quick thought, and I was like, when I think Edge, the first thing that pops into my head is always this moment, and that moment is when he speared Jeff Hardy, like from when Hardy's hanging to grab the belt off the ladder in that triangle. Was it triangle ladder match?
It
Was
was
it called?
TLC 2.
TLC 2, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that moment just stuck out for me, and that they showed the stall at WrestleMania. It put when they were, even though they were already like established as the tag teams, it put them even further off the map. But I feel like that was like Edge's moment that kind of elevated him above Christian a little bit, which is a bit sad that we never saw like top end Christian in WWE. But I feel like that moment just encapsulates like Edge's like start of like what you could see happening in the future with his singles run, and I feel like that moment made me like a big Edge fan as well and appreciate him a lot more.
yeah, that moment is iconic, isn't it?
Hmm.
The visual of it, it's
Yeah,
replayed over and
every
over again
vignette, yeah.
to this day. When you think of
Yeah.
iconic WrestleMania moments, you do think of Edge
Hmm.
spearing Jeff Hardy off the ladder. Yeah.
Good, yeah. WrestleManias and high end tag team matches and TLC matches always gets played, yeah. Really good.
What do you think of that one, Alfonso?
I really like that one. That was, but the thing is that I was too young, so I watched that moment after,
Yeah,
like
I
once I
was a
was
bit
getting.
young as well and watched it after, but I feel like that moment is just ingrained in my mind, even though I didn't watch it live. That for me, it still holds so much weight for me.
Okay.
But
No,
yeah,
I think it's one of the most iconic moments in wrestling. Like if you're showing a friend like
yeah,
they want to see something very cool in wrestling, you show them that moment, or you show
yeah,
them Mick Foley falling off of the cell. But
of course. Hmm.
those are very great choices, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, definitely two great choices. My choice is gonna be a little bit of a sort of under the radar one. Um, but it's a choice that sort of sums up the whole ultimate opportunist character that Edge played so well through the late 2000s.
Hmm.
And it was Elimination Chamber 2009. I don't know if you guys
Oh,
remember that one.
yes, yes,
Yes.
I
Was
So,
do.
was it the one where he lost the title and won
yes,
or whatever, and then jumped into the other one?
that's it. Yeah, yeah.
I
So
see. Yeah.
he entered the first match. He was defending his WWE Championship in the
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber, and he and Jeff Hardy started the match. For those who don't remember, and Jeff Hardy pinned him in 3 minutes, and that was it. He was out. Like first elimination. The crowd were absolutely shocked by that moment.
Mhm.
Edge couldn't believe it himself. And then, of course, fast forward to the main event, Kofi Kingston's coming out making his appearance, and then Edge just attacks him in the aisleway, think he gives him a concerto onto the steel steps, and then just jumps into the pod and takes his place in the match, and that was it. He goes on to win the match. Has a great final sequence with Rey Mysterio. They had a couple of great ones in the Elimination Chamber. And left that night as the World Heavyweight Champion.
Again, great moment. Just in realistic terms, though, no authority really cared. I know that's like the whole story, but like there was not like, oh, you ain't getting the show. We're gonna get someone else on the back for this. No, just carry on. Screw it. Edge is in there. Carry on.
That's what it was like back then, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
He almost, I think he barricaded himself in. I think the refs were trying to get him out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No,
True.
I'm not leaving.
I mean, like Vince could have come on and be like, "Oh, you're fired" or something. But I understand for the story, but just like look at it critically a little bit. But it's a great moment nonetheless, and it definitely encapsulates characters of like being the rated R superstar, the ultimate opportunist, and making the most of his opportunities. Really, yeah.
Because he just had this habit of getting into matches either late on. Sometimes he would get into the match during the match. I remember Survivor Series 2008 when it was that god-awful match between Triple H, sorry, Craig, and Vladimir Kozlov. And then Edge came in, I think, a minute before the end and just stole the title. He just did some of his best work as this ultimate opportunist heel, where he would just steal the title on countless occasions. He used Vicky Guerrero a lot of the time, who was the general manager of SmackDown, to help him out. So,
But before we go, or before we talk about something else, I want to make one extra choice of moment.
Okay.
Go on, Alfonso. I'll let you.
This one is for Craig.
It's
a match from Raw, February 7, 2005. Right. Triple H versus Edge, World Heavyweight Championship match. It's nothing special, but obviously Edge does whatever he can to make Triple H look strong. So I think it's a great moment for Edge's career, making Triple H look strong. And then you have a stare down between Triple H and Batista, and that was great.
No doubt that did Edge some favors backstage. I bet Craig was here. He would have said, Triple H really helped Edge in that one. Really helped him catapult him into the main event scene.
I mean, I don't think Edge had a choice because I remember seeing a shovel in the background somewhere. I'm sure if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that one, but
hey, that shovel was always there or thereabouts, Rohit.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, so yeah, favorite moments from Edge's career. I mean, three good ones there. Iconic moments too.
I think one of the things that also I love about Edge is that he has done it all. And if you think about it, like for me, one of the funniest things that I love about wrestling is not wrestling per se, is that whatever comes with wrestling, like the shows, like the comedy shows, like the interviews, like the podcast and all that. And for me, the Edge and Christian show, the totally rigs of awesomeness, was great. Like only 2 seasons, but I enjoyed it a lot. And I think that show, like the passion that Edge has for this business. So
yeah, really good show. Yeah.
So really, I'm just not sad that he's retiring, but I really want to see him in AEW, just because I want to see him reunite with Christian and maybe have a Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys again, or maybe Edge and Christian versus FTR, or Edge and Christian versus
Lucha Brothers.
Or the Young Bucks, like whatever you can do.
Open, yeah.
Like you have so many new opportunities, and Edge has been one of those guys that we haven't seen outside of the WWE system. Like we got to see Rey Mysterio outside of WWE with Lucha Underground and all that, but and I really want to see Edge like outside of that world, just to see him wrestle a little bit more because I love him.
I think now would be the perfect time to do it as well because you can go to AEW, little bit of a lighter schedule, less mileage on the road because they don't travel constantly on the road as much, and he can get a good salary, set up his retirement fund even more. Not that he probably needs it, but he can. And
He's
then
getting the Disney money.
exactly, and he can do that, and then obviously maybe help Christian out a little bit, maybe help him do something, but also do something himself. Singles run, adding him to an AEW as a AEW World Champion onto the list for the lineage of the belt would be cool too. So many people could have good matches with, and then afterwards as well, producer, coach, if he wants to do something like that backstage. Edge maybe as a general manager on like Collision or something. I don't know.
That
Could
could
be
be cool.
Ooh,
cool.
That
proper
could be cool.
fantasy
There's
booking
a lot of
now.
options. Yeah, there's lots of options if he did go there, but if he doesn't and he decides to call it quits and maybe go pursue more of acting like he did with the Vikings TV show or
He
other
can do that as
opportunities,
well. Like,
he can do that as well. Yeah.
I just want to see him be happy because he made an awesome effort just to come back and wrestle a little
Yeah.
bit more, and that was great. Like, the return of the Royal Rumble was amazing. I was crying when I saw that,
Yeah.
and I think wrestling is very magical when you have those moments, when you have those like heroes trying to show the world that if you have a dream, just keep going and try to make it happen. Like, he wanted to be a wrestler since he was a kid, so I think that's great. But if we are fantasy booking, AW and Edge is very easy because Edge happened. Edge doesn't know his father, and you know who hates fathers is Christian. So there you go. It's easy booking.
Just
Absolutely.
yes.
Um, yeah, I mean, you guys summed that up pretty well. So, I mean, obviously, Tony Khan has the money, no doubt
Mhm.
about that. Edge has a possible opportunity to appear at the quote biggest event in wrestling history.
Yeah.
In one word, do we see Edge at All In? Alfonso,
No,
Rohit.
Sadly, no.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. And of
Yeah.
course, mentioning All In this Sunday, we'll move on to that now. Obviously, like I said, the biggest wrestling show in
Yeah.
history in terms of ticket distribution. I
Sorry to
think.
cut you off. Before we fully go there, maybe all out though. Maybe.
Oh, do you think?
Maybe. I feel like that's more of a possibility than all in.
no.
But
I think for me, I think it's the next one. What is the next one after All Out?
Full
Is
gear.
Full Gear. I think it's Full
could
Gear the
be
one.
that.
I just can't see him missing up that opportunity to appear at Wembley. I don't know.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen. But I feel like for me, I think those circumstances, how close it is, we don't know what stipulation, if there is anything going on. I feel like maybe more likely all out than all in. But I think all in would make sense too. But we'll find out, really, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. So
Hmm.
yeah, back to All In.
Yep.
82,000 plus tickets distributed. It's a monumental achievement from AEW. Congratulations to them on what they've
Hmm.
done. So let's just get straight into what I would say is the main event of the show: MJF versus Adam Cole for
No,
the.
CM Punk Samoa Joe, you misspoke. I
CM
Nah,
understand.
Punk Samoa Joe.
Nah, I
it's
understand.
not going to happen.
No.
They
It's
keep
not.
saying it on Dynamite. They say it
Yeah.
in every interviews. You are main eventing the
It's
show.
true.
I think they're going to go with MJF and
Yeah.
Cole.
That's
So,
definitely it.
AEW World Championship on the line. Two best friends fighting it out. Um, who is going to win this match and how? Rohit, we'll start with you.
In an ideal world, I think Adam Cole's gonna win the match by turning full heel on MJF, with Roderick Strong also turning heel alongside Adam Cole.
Yeah,
Something like along those lines. I feel like that's the more makes sense because I feel like if they want to keep the belt on MJF, sure. I feel like the heel turn may not be as impactful than him scumbagging his way to winning the belt. I feel like that's makes more sense. And then you can have the MJF chasing the belt, trying to get revenge, the belt back, and prolong the storyline. I feel like as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rohit. I don't think it makes any sense for MJF to turn on Adam Cole. I think we've been down that road a
Yeah,
lot with MJF. I think he's finally sort of come out and as this baby face. He's lowered his guard now to someone.
yeah,
He's let someone in. He's trusting someone, and it
exactly.
probably also makes Adam Cole look really, really stupid for trusting him after knowing what kind of person MJF has been the last 5 years or so. Um,
Yep, I agree. And then obviously with Adam Cole being then the heel champion, he can obviously have like maybe a rematch with MGF, win that. Then he moves on to a couple of other opponents, let the MGF work out, cool down a little bit, have him work his babyface persona. Then obviously perhaps you have him eventually beat Punk and then go back to Adam Cole, or other way around, have him beat Adam Cole, and that's when Punk comes back in the scene potentially and see who's the undisputed champion or whatever they're going to call it. Something
yeah,
along that line. I feel like.
yeah, definitely could happen. Alfonso, what do you think is going to happen in the main event?
I also think that it's going to be Adam Cole that is going to win. I think it's going to be with the help of Kingdom. It's yeah, Mike Bennett and the other guy. Always forget his name,
Matt
but they're
Taven.
teasing.
Matt
Yeah,
Taven.
yeah, they're teasing that they're going to like do something together. So I think Roderick Strong, Mike Bennett, Taven, and maybe a returning somebody that has been undisputed before can help Cole win at Wembley.
Kyle
But
O'Reilly, you talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that maybe Kyle O'Reilly is coming back. That's why we're not hearing anything about him like 9 months ago or something like that. So maybe they're just
What,
waiting for that big moment for him.
what
But
would be interesting, in my opinion, is what if Kyle O'Reilly makes the post match save for MGF, setting up O'Reilly Cole again? That rivalry as well in the background.
Mm.
I think that could be an interesting wrinkle instead of O'Reilly joining Cole.
Could happen. I mean, there's so many ways you could go with this,
Mhm.
isn't there?
Yeah,
They've built up the story really, really well, I think, and it,
surprisingly.
yes, it's one of the ones they've got right this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
See,
but for
I
me,
go on,
Go.
Alfonso.
for me, the most important thing is that you need to have MJF being a face
Yeah,
Yes,
I think so.
because the speech about 2024, the contract stuff is getting a little bit boring as a heel. And I think to make it interesting is to have Adam Cole win, have CM Punk face Adam Cole for the real world title, and have Punk beat Adam Cole. And then you have one of the most heelish heels in history in CM Punk. Injuring Adam Cole again, you have that scare moment or something like that. And then you have the true face of AEW, MJF, trying to face CM Punk again, and you have CM Punk against MJF too, or something like that.
yeah. See, I like that as well.
Hmm.
I think that the match that is the biggest match they could do is babyface champion MJF versus ultimate heel champion CM Punk. Um, I
Sure.
don't know if that would probably have to happen at Full Gear in November, which would mean that MJF would somehow walk out of All In with the championship. But
Exactly.
I
That's
don't.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They're
I,
going to, for me, they're going to do Money in the Bank 2011 all over again.
It,
I feel like maybe they could. I'm hoping they could prolong it a little bit more, stretch out this storyline a little bit, like have it be a bit more long term. But with AEW, I don't trust them to do that. So
it's true. It's the it would be the best storyline because despite everything that MJF has done, he is the company man, and Punk
yeah,
is this guy who's supposedly ruining the company
yeah.
from within. It would make perfect sense, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and then when you have Monster Champion Punk at the end of the day slaying the baby face, you have Edge coming and just takes the title from him. No, on a level, yeah. But yeah, I fully agree with what you guys said. They can go multiple ways, and I do think you are right. Like babyface MGF and super heel Punk will
Yeah, that would
probably
be
be the
great.
biggest match,
Yeah.
apart from probably Omega versus Punk
Yeah, of
potentially.
course, of course, of course. Should we talk about the other matches on the card?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say. So obviously we've got the other, well, real World Championship match: CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. There is the AEW World Tag Team titles: FTR versus the Young Bucks. There's Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. There's a bunch of other matches. Alfonso, which is the other match that you are most intrigued by and most looking forward to?
Oh, you know my answer.
Punk versus Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, Punk versus Joe. I think they can do magic in the ring,
Yeah.
and that's a very close one with the FTR against the Young Bucks, because even though we don't have the story there, I think we're going to have the quality of the match there. And but yeah, Punk Joe is going to be awesome. I think it's going to depend a lot of how the British people react to Punk. Like, we don't know if Punk is a heel in the UK or not. We
Very
don't
true.
know. Like, it's very weird, because sometimes Punk is a heel somewhere, and then he's a face other time. So I don't know.
He's almost playing that Bret Hart character from
Yeah.
'97, isn't he? Where he was an
Exactly.
absolute top babyface in Canada and absolutely hated in America.
I think he's gonna be a heel, but it's gonna be like a good heel, not the go away heat that he has been getting. I feel like it's just gonna be like the regular heel that they're gonna love to boo Punk because he's set up to be a bad guy in a way. But I don't know. It's gonna be
Uh,
interesting to see what the crowd thinks.
and do we think Punk is winning that one?
Yes.
I mean, if AEW is gonna continue flimsy booking and don't really care about storylines, I say screw it. Have Joe win, Punk beat Punk. Joe becomes the real
Oh,
world champion. Have him squash MJF. Joe is top guy of AEW.
you're throwing out
But
some proper fantasy booking tonight, Rosie.
yeah, of course, Samoa Joe is my guy, and I've loved him since I started watching him first time in Ring of Honor. But yeah, on realistically, Punk should win that. I think makes sense. Really, he's the top guy in Collision in a way that's been based around him. And I feel like with the MJF storyline and just going forward with whatever dynamics there will be, just makes more sense really. And Joe is still the TV champion in Ring of Honor, isn't he? So he's got
Yeah.
that to do as well. So yeah.
Rohit, what other match are you most?
Um. Yeah. I think it has to be the Punk Samoa Joe match. It's interesting to see what kind of match they will build, what outcome will happen, and where the both stars go from after the match. I'm really intrigued to see what that holds and what the future means for the World Championship and the Rio World Championship, if that's what you want to call it. And the other one is probably Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. I just want to see how good Ospreay can carry Jericho to a 5-star match, if that's possible
Because
or
he'll
not.
he'll have to when he. I'm not too thrilled by this one. I have to say. I think
Yeah,
Osprey is the biggest English wrestler, really the best English
of
wrestler,
course.
and he's going in there against a guy who he doesn't
Yeah,
really need to be wrestling. He
yeah,
could have an absolute banger of a match with Kenny Omega. I remember you said
hundred
Rohit last
percent.
week, John Moxley.
100%. I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, we just don't know if like maybe Osprey wanted just for his bit of a legacy kind of like match to have that win over Jericho, if he even wins. Because if Jericho has its way, we don't know.
there's
I,
no
Yeah.
fucking way
but
Chris
yeah,
Jericho is winning that match.
I mean maybe that because since Osprey doesn't have the Wrestle Kingdom main event, maybe we get the rematch at Wrestle Kingdom.
No, that
I
that
don't
would
know.
be worse than anything Triple H has ever done
I
to bury
agree.
anyone.
I agree, but he has to make it there though. In One Piece because he's facing Shingo Takagi at Rev Pro 11th anniversary the night before, and that's not going to be a cakewalk.
Very true.
For me, one of the things I'm looking forward is I want to fantasy book a little bit the Stadium Stampede match,
Ooh.
because there is only one wrestler I want really to see that night, and is I want to see Grado.
Oh,
Scottish professional
yes.
wrestler. Like, I'm from El
Yeah.
Salvador. And then I started to hear about this guy, and then I started watching this guy, and I think it's going to be like fucking awesome if AEW put him in Wembley. Like, that will be like so crazy for me.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, hundred
Just a
percent.
little cameo, just like 2 minutes just to say hi over there or something like that. That will be
Yeah.
crazy.
That would get a
One thing
huge
I'm a
pop.
bit surprised is that they haven't got any room for Zack Sabre Jr. at all. Bit surprised at that. I thought he would have been part of this somehow, somewhere, but maybe he's not interested. I don't know.
Yeah, it's odd because really the hometown heroes, they've only got Osprey and Soraya, really, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know if they're gonna have anything more like. I know with the Zero, I think they have a match announced with the Ring of Honor tag team titles, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
Aussie Open against Cole and MJF, isn't it?
Cole and MJF, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe like there might be another match where they have like maybe a couple of local British guys that like having a match. Maybe like someone like Douglas Williams could appear there just as a cameo or something, or like I don't know, as an like honorary announcer or something for one match
Like,
or something. I don't know.
right now, there are 11 matches
Yeah.
in the card. Like
Hmm.
Aussie Open against MJF and Adam Cole, Jack Perry versus Hook, also in the pre-show,
Yep.
FTR Young Bucks,
Yep.
uh, the four-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship match, the Coffin match, the six-man tag team match, the Golden Elite versus Takeshita and the Bullet Club Gold, the Stadium
Hmm.
Stampede match, Osprey Jericho, CM Punk Samoa Joe, House of Black versus Billy Gunn and The Claim, and MJF Adam Cole.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
stacked card, isn't it?
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Honestly, I feel like no offense to the guys, and I love the House of Black, but Billy Gunn and Declare, I feel like that may have. I think they could have done that all out, couldn't they? But
I
we'll
think
see.
they got that big moment on Dynamite, didn't they? Because obviously everything was hinting at Billy being
Yeah.
retired. He came
Yeah.
back, got the big reaction
Mm,
to set up the
that's
match.
true.
Yeah,
He wants that 80,000 crowd, though, in Billy Gunn, yeah. Probably whispered in a Tony Khan's ear.
yeah,
But let's be honest, like The
Hmm.
Claim has been one of the best things
Of course,
from
yeah.
AW, and
Mhm.
they need to be there at Wembley.
Yeah. No, it
And
makes sense. It's an AEW show. They need to
yeah,
have
and if you
AEW
give
guys on, yeah.
and if you give Billy Gunn that moment just because he's fucking Billy Gunn, that's okay, like.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it's one of those wrestling shows where you gotta have those moments and those kind of like legends or well-known names on the card as well. So
yeah. I
It's the
think
definitely,
biggest wrestling show.
we're gonna
yeah,
get some of those big poppy moments, aren't we? That the
hmm,
crowd can just go nuts to for a couple of minutes.
100%,
But if
hundred
we are
percent.
fantasy booking again, if Edge appears at All In, where does he appears? Where? In what match? In what segment? Or he
If
just
if I was fantasy booking, why does after Osprey beats Jericho, why doesn't Edge come out to confront Osprey?
Mm.
ooh.
I think that could be an interesting like wrinkle wherever they decide to do it, whether it's AEW New Japan further on. It'd be interesting to see where they could do. For example, if Edge won today and he does sign with AEW, maybe that could be Osprey's Wrestle Kingdom match, Osprey versus Edge. Maybe.
Oh, and then you have Edge in Japan. That will be great.
Yeah, that could be great. Like even if it's just a one-time match in Japan, something on his bucket list, maybe. And if not, it's something cool moment. I feel like to round out his career would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, or you could
Like,
just throw him straight in there with Christian, as you mentioned earlier. Could
Yeah.
do a thing where Christian and his crew are say beating down Sting after massive heel heat. Then all of a sudden you hear Edge's music. He come if they can get the rights to Metalingus, which would be insane.
Yeah.
Edge come out and make the save for Sting which would
Sting
also get a huge.
Edge
And then
versus Christian.
Edge versus Christian, yeah, do it again.
Yeah, I feel like that's what makes him more likely that he will end up in AEW at least for a little bit. Is I think he wants to wrap because he's had the Hall of Fame induction already, so he's not worried about leaving WWE and say, "Oh, you won't be inducted in the Hall of Fame, brother," or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I feel like knowing the relationship they have and how they broke into the business, I feel like he wants to have a send off moment with Christian one way or another, whether it's teaming against each other or both, depending on how long he stays there. I feel like that's how he will want to call it quits this time. But yeah, be interesting.
But you know what the best thing is that it's a coffin match, so you can have also Grangel in there and just have a brood reunion, and everybody's happy about that.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that would be insane, Alfonso. I love it.
Brood Sting and Brood Darby Allen. That would be
Well,
cool.
plenty of fantasy booking going on in tonight's show. Plenty of
Yeah.
fantasy booking. But yeah, we'll have to wrap it up there, guys. Obviously, All In this Sunday, going to be a huge show, like we talked about tonight. So many different things could happen. So yeah, just sit back, watch it, enjoy it. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a lot of positives the days and weeks after. Just like to say before I go as well, we are recording Thursday, the 24th of August, on the birthday of the best booker in the McMahon Helmsley family, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself. Sorry,
VKM.
Triple H, but it's Vince. Sorry, Craig. Had
Big
to get that
Vince.
one in there.
Big Vince. And before we go, I do want to mention if you're keeping up with the British local wrestling scene, again, I just mentioned it earlier, Rev Pro's 11th anniversary event as well, happening the day before All In. So if people are interested in that, you'll find it online where you can watch that. So keep an eye on that.
Definitely, Rohit. Yeah. Rohit, Alfonso, thank you so much for this evening. Guys, if you've been listening, subscribe to our social media on Twitter, Facebook. You'll see this episode on YouTube in the coming weeks. Rohit, Alfonso, thank you so much. And have a good evening. Take care, guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you. Have a good day.
Pleasure.
Evening. Bye bye.
Ciao. Bye bye.